Hey guys, and welcome to the Natty Blueprint podcast. This is episode 23. We hope everyone is all good on this lovely sunny day, which is probably going to go away very, very soon in the UK. Anyway, we've got a lovely guest on today, the second female on the Natty Blueprint. And it's good to have a guest on because we haven't had one in a couple of weeks. So we have got Toni from the Bikini Coach. She is on here today. She is a competitor and a coach as well. So, Toni, how you doing? Do you want to give a little bit of an introduction to yourself?
Good, thanks. And thank you for having me on as well. Really got really excited. I was like, oh, Mom, I've made it. I've been asked to be interviewed on a podcast. But yeah, I guess my name's Toni. I'm from a little town in South Wales called Talbot. I am an online coach, also a PT. I am also a bikini competitor, and I am an ex-nurse as well. So in terms of competing, my first prep was in 2022, where I competed in PCA and two bros. And I won my PCA Pro card in my first season, and then I didn't place out. I don't think no, yeah, I've never placed outside the top three as an amateur, which is pretty cool. Not
Good.
sure how that's just a fluke, therefore. Fluke. And then my second season was last year, and I did my PCA Pro debut, and then I tried another federation, which was NFM, and I won my pro card with them as well. So yeah, overall, I feel like can't really go any higher, so I'm just gonna maybe bow out gracefully here, take it and run.
I'm sure there's plenty more there. I'm sure there's
Yeah,
plenty there.
we'll see, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you're still like young, right, for bodybuilding terms. Like,
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh, am I? I just feel like now these days it's just so popular, isn't it? And there's really young people coming through like the woodworks, like 18, 19. And honestly, I tell myself sometimes, I'm like, oh, if only you had started training like you train now. Because I have some clients, right, who are in the early 20s and they train like monsters, and I'm like, you guys are gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, well ahead of the curve.
yeah,
But yeah, I didn't really start really training hard probably until I was about 20, 25, 24. So a
Yeah.
little bit later. I'm 28 now. So, I mean, every time I see like masters competitors, I feel like I love like bikini masters, and they're all over 35. So I'm like, I have still quite a while before I reach that like age, I suppose. So, but yeah, I think I just need a couple of years out, enjoy my life, build some muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of like when you started in the gym, was you always quite active into the gym, or did you just stumble across bodybuilding and then loved it from
Um,
there?
I guess, yes. So if we may as well start from the beginning. From like age of like 3 till 17, I danced quite a lot, mainly ballet. Whether I was doing competitions, exams, shows, I was always like dancing. And then when I reached like the age of 17, I was like, oh, I want to drive now. And my father were like, I'm an only child. And they were like, right, it's one or the other. It's either dance, which is like super expensive. It's worse than competing. It's so expensive. Or you start to learn to drive. So I was like, right, obviously I'm going to learn to drive because I want to go out with my friends. I want to live my life. So I knocked that on the head. And then I carried on eating I always ate junk food as a kid. So I carried on eating that junk food, and then I stopped dancing. So I kind of got a little bit fat quite quickly. And I was like, what's happening? Like, what is going on here? Because I've always been quite small. And then went to uni, lived that up to do nursing. And first year of uni, again, I was just out all the time, as usual you do as freshers, drinking all the time, eating terribly. And then I saw this one photo of myself, a club photo. They're not like the most like nice photos on the best day, but in my uni accommodation, there was no full length mirrors. So I didn't have a clue what I looked like really. I saw this photo and I was like, oh my goodness gracious me, who the hell is that? And I was like, right, I am starting a diet. So didn't have a clue. I didn't know what a macro meant. I genuinely thought a macro was a bird. Like, had no idea. So I just what did I remember having like a plate of like lettuce and cucumber, and I was just like sitting there like a bird eating this lettuce and cucumber, and then by the evening then I went back to having like an extra large Domino's, super noodles, but with Cocoa Pops. That was my diet really. And then second year of uni I moved home back with my parents because my uni was only like half an hour from where I actually lived. I went to Swansea uni. And then I just joined the gym and just did a lot of circuits classes, joined Slimming World with my parents. We just followed that, just started eating a bit healthier, making better choices, moving a bit more. So I did lose a lot of weight just on my own, just following that and just being more active. And then it got to a point where I was like, I just look a bit like skinny fat now. Like there's nothing really, there's no muscle there. Probably wasn't having enough protein because Slimming World was very much like, have as much pasta as you want, have as much potatoes as you want. So that's when I got myself a coach then and just started to learn more about macros and training hard and moving away from the circuits more towards like resistance training, things like that. And then the coach that I had at the time, she was like, why don't we do like a photo shoot prep? So then did that, and then I was like, oh, I really like this whole process of dieting down. That was during, again, I'd qualified as a nurse at this point, so I did my photo shoot prep whilst nursing, and then I was like, oh, this on to the next challenge basically, because my coach at the time was like a bikini competitor. So I suppose I just kind of like just got exposed through that really, through that side of things. It was quite like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like a natural progression.
Yeah, I guess
Almost, yeah.
natural progression. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how that came about. I just joined then more of a bodybuilding style gym at the time when I had this coach, and just was just then speaking to people more about it and learning about bikini and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to try that. And that's how that happened.
Right, very good. Yeah, I think that's kind of like your standard start. I think Max, you're
Yeah.
probably the same. Like mine was, oh, I'm gonna start trying to build muscle and eat vegetables and chicken and try and grow, and it doesn't work. So
Isn't it mad how like our experiences now are like very similar, but then the experiences like some of our like clients and younger people have now are just straight into the gym, training 5 days a week, like eating
yeah,
they didn't go through that period of like dirty bulking, like
yeah,
you guys probably did, and
yeah,
I probably did as well.
yeah,
I remember my first bulk was like a packet of Pop Tarts every day, stuff like that that I would never give anyone else. Um, but yeah, it's just funny how like things have progressed so quickly, and I think social media is a big part to play in that.
yeah,
There's so much information out there now, which we didn't really have at our age when we were first starting off.
yeah. I remember when like I first got into the gym at like 17, 18. I didn't even
Mm.
know what a coach was. I just knew of like the big influencers of like your gym
Yeah.
shop people. It was only probably till I was about 23, 24. I was like, oh, coaching is a thing. And
Hmm.
then that's when it sort of picked up from there. So yeah,
Yeah.
it is pretty mad. Social media is good, but obviously there's bad sides to it as well. So
If I could live life without social media, I think I would be such way happier.
yes,
Oh,
yes,
We've said this so many times, haven't we? Like, if I just
yep,
didn't have to use Instagram on a daily basis, like I would.
mm.
But unfortunately, it's part of running a business, isn't it?
It's
yeah,
literally right now these days, like running your own business, you rely on social media. So, but yeah, if I could just have one day of my
yeah. You've
life where I
got
don't
to
have to
show up every day,
open
otherwise people forget about you.
Instagram or
Yeah,
anything.
you become
Oh,
irrelevant.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's frozen again,
but
and we
for
can't hear you, or I can't hear you now, Tony.
There we go. I think it's back.
Wait, we're back.
We're back.
We're back.
Some technical difficulties.
Something.
So I want to touch on when you were a nurse then, and obviously you've done a photo shoot, which must have been hard. Like obviously the nursing shifts are pretty wild. How did you deal with that? Like, did you find it was easy when you kind of got in a solid routine and prepped everything, or
yeah.
was it still a lot more challenging?
Honestly, I think once you've been a nurse, especially when I first started, I was in intensive care. You're just built different, and the whole job is very much revolved around ticking boxes. Every 12-hour shift, the start of the shift, you get a patient who's like super sick, and you've got so many things going at once. So you have to write a big list at the start of your shift. and throughout the day you're checking, making sure that you're ticking boxes. So you become very regimented as an intensive care nurse. And I think that's how I just did really well in like preps and in like living the bodybuilding lifestyle, because that's exactly what that is: ticking boxes, getting stuff done, and being productive. So I think that's how that the nursing helped me like go into bodybuilding and do pretty well. But in terms of like how I manage things, again, it was just like looking at my week as a whole. Before like my working week would start, I would check to see what days I was doing like long day shifts, what days I was doing the night shifts. Right, okay, because I didn't have like set, you train lower on a Monday, you train upper on a Tuesday like I do now. It was kind of like a rolling split, but I would move things around depending on my shifts for that week. So you have to kind of be quite flexible in that aspect. You know, when I could be training lower body on a Tuesday, and then I could be the week after, I could be training it on a Saturday. Like it was very, very different. And I would try my best to make sure that when I was doing like night shifts, that I wasn't training like between night shifts. Always training before, always maybe training after the final night shift, but never between, because I did it before and I was wrecked. So I just knew that like that wasn't for me. Some people can do it. I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, I suppose you just kind of look at your week as a whole and like see what fits in where. Meal prepping, I would just really like start bulk prepping my protein. So if I knew I had like 100 grams chicken breast each day and I was working 3 shifts in a row, I would bulk prep 300 grams chicken and then divide it into like 3 containers. And same for the carbs, same for, basics really. It's really not that difficult to, I mean, it is, of course it is. It is difficult, but you just get on with it.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
just make it work. If you want something like bad enough, you will just do whatever it takes to get there, no matter what obstacle is thrown in your way. But another really important thing is, like, I'm somebody who just very much just gets on with it. But if I am struggling, then that's what your coach is there for, to reach out and be like, look, I've just done 3 night shifts in a row. I'm meant to train legs today. I feel quite wrecked. I don't think it's going to be a productive session. What would you recommend? 9 times out of 10, they'll say, right, we'll just move the training day to another day, and that's fine. We'll just take today as a rest day, impromptu
Yeah.
rest day, and go from there. So I think, one, being open and honest with your coach and not just suffering in silence and then leaving it to your check-in day, being like, oh, I didn't get to the gym this day and that day. Just communicate with them frequently, planning your week, meal prepping. And like another thing then, you're going to get questions, because most people in like 9 to 5 jobs in
I was going to
healthcare.
ask that in terms of how it is in that kind of sector of work.
Yeah, in all honesty, like I never really came across any issues. I think that was just because I was always just very open with my colleagues and was like, this is what I'm doing, this is my goals. And I was really lucky. The colleagues I had were all really supportive and interested actually in what I was doing. And that's kind of how I knew that I wanted to be a coach, I think, because they would be so interested. They would ask me questions. Oh, Toni, I've put on a bit of weight now. Like, what do you think I should do? And not that I was a coach at the time, but just everything that I'd learned from being coached and going to the gym and having my own experience, I was able to say, oh, you know what, if you just maybe try and, have protein in each meal and spread your meals across the day and meal prep and things like that, maybe hit like 10,000 pace steps. Like I was giving little tips like that, and I was finding, I was like, oh, actually, I do kind of know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like nursing, I know people who have had issues and it's crap. I do think you get it more though in like your corporate jobs
Yeah.
than healthcare, because healthcare is very much like you are promoting health. So, as much as bodybuilding isn't so healthy, they were still supportive of like the gym and the food and things like that. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
because
if
obviously,
anyone does have any issues with it, you just ignore them. Like, unless
I
it's your
know.
manager saying you can't eat here, then just ignore them.
HR, give me HR's number.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm allowed to eat.
yeah, I'm allowed to eat, and it's not weird like what you're eating. Like realistically, like the bodybuilding diet is very plain food, but obviously we have our weird things like cream of rice and stuff, which no one can wrap their head around.
Goodness. You know what? There's
Um,
the worst, actually, probably the worst place that I've had questions for what am I eating is working in that gym. If I was at the desk, Max, and you're one of them.
Yeah, you had some weird concoctions in your 2022 prep though, Tony. Like,
Things we do to make food tasty
I
on
was
prep. I
like,
was
what? You had like 15 grams of cream of rice, and you just made it like this big, like
big
whatever.
pancake.
And I literally was looking at that, and I was like, that
It's not
looks
even
fine.
worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would always get questions at the desk about cream of rice, and I'm like, we literally sell it here, like this. But yeah, that was the only really place that I remember having questions. But I think that was because I was doing long shifts there and I was seeing people all the time. When I was working as a district nursing is like drive into people's homes. So but I obviously wasn't eating in
Yeah.
someone's house. I was quite lucky. My first competition prep, I was just able to eat in my car.
Yeah.
I never really had to eat like in front of people. My photo shoot prep when I was in ITU, I did, but most people just brought their own meal preps anyway, to be fair. But yeah, working in that gym, because I'm obviously taking like 5 meals a day, eating like chicken and green beans or cream of rice. People are like, what is that? I've never seen that before. You know, your Gen Pop people would ask those
Yeah.
questions. Yeah.
To be fair, if I had 15 grams of cream of rice, I just wouldn't bother eating it.
Yeah.
I'd just say no, I don't want it.
Yeah, I mean,
Go no carb.
it's like dangling like something in your face, being like, haha, here's what you could have, but you're only gonna have a teeny little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Half a scoop.
Yeah.
it's just not even worth it, is it?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
How have you found, obviously, in terms of since you've been coaching, what's
Mm,
been like, I guess, a highlight? Obviously, you said you kind of naturally fell into it. What's been
mm.
like the thing that's like, yeah, this is what I want to be doing?
This is for me. Yeah, so I went to when we usually have like a stand at the PCA expos, and I had clients doing this. Actually, I had a client doing when I did my PCA Pro debut. I had a client that same day. And that was like my first client that I'd put on stage. No, she'd competed one show, but she was also there at the universe it was. And I remember watching her on stage and I just felt I'd never felt that feeling before in my chest. Like I felt physically sick. I never experienced that like when I was getting on stage and I just felt like so excited. And I've never felt I can't even really put it into words. It's a hard one. And that's kind of when I knew that like I was doing the right thing now, with like taking a year up this year, focusing on putting other people on stage because the feeling that you get when you help somebody achieve that is just like second to none. So I think putting people on stage and seeing them do well like in person is like that my realization. I was like, I'm definitely doing the right thing here. And like with like my background in nursing, when I knew that it wasn't for me anymore, nursing's very much about like treatment and treating people there and then. And in my district nursing job, you go out to a lot of diabetics, and I just found that I was enjoy rather than the treatment, I was enjoying more of like the educational and the prevention side of things. And that is what coaching is, basically like education, prevention, rather than
Yeah, it's more long term. Obviously, if you're just
yeah,
treating someone there and then, it's just very, this is what we're going to do sort of
yeah.
thing. So
And
obviously, if
I find that to be more rewarding, and I got more gratification from that. And that's kind of think how I knew that nursing wasn't really for me. Also, have a bit of PTSD from working through COVID as well. That was just horrendous.
I can imagine.
Yeah, but yeah,
Did
highlight
you
is definitely.
prep during COVID as well?
Um, so my photo shoot prep was during COVID, and then kind of the start of my bodybuilding prep was because COVID went on for so long. The start of my bodybuilding prep was like towards the end. I was started in my new job in the community where we were still wearing masks quite a lot there, but yeah, I did my photo shoot prep when I was in ITU, and
Okay.
that was hard because I qualified in 2018 and then COVID happened in obviously 2020, right? So I went straight from uni to intensive care, which is like obviously really hard. So being 2 years in intensive care, you're considered quite junior still. But because then COVID happened, and then we were having a lot of nurses come from the wards, coming back from retirement, so needed like educating themselves. So because I'd been there 2 years, they were like, right, your experience, you're going to man who will be. You know, you're going to teach nurses how to use this, this, and that. And I was like, I might be here 2 years myself, I'm still a baby. And I remember like one day I was like manning a bay of like 6 ventilated patients along with like other nurses, and people just dropping like flies. Like I probably saw about 8 deaths in one day, and I was only 21. Like it was a lot, and that was every day. So that's when that's why the photo shoot prep really helped me, because my dad made me like a little home gym, and after my shifts I would go there, and that really helped me manage like the stress, and I think that's how I got through it, to be honest, was just having that time to
Something
train,
else to
something to
focus.
focus on other than just constant death and sadness. I just had, right, I know I've got to eat all my meals today, I know I've got to do this X amount of cardio, I know I've got to train lower body. That was just something else to take my mind off it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that definitely really helped me through that. I don't think I probably would have gotten through it otherwise if it wasn't for having that focus of like a photo shoot prep.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to you. That's a very intense job. So not many people could do it. So fair play to you.
It's
Yeah,
crazy what direction bodybuilding can give you, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
you
Yeah.
can get through anything if you just solely focus on your bodybuilding. Like, I know, like the roughest times in my life, I've always just thrown myself in bodybuilding, and then I just you just get through it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you both will know this. Like, how many times have you like had a client drop off, and it's because they've broken up with their partner, or like they've done something's happened, and I'm like, this is the point where you probably
Now's the
need a
time to
coach the
double
most.
down. Yeah,
Yeah,
This will help you get through
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
having if anything is going on in your personal life, your work life, I think, okay, maybe not to the extremes of stepping on stage and doing a prep, but at least having good nutrition and moving your
Stay
body
active.
by
Yeah.
going to the gym, that's just going to make you, it's not going to make you just better internally, but like mentally as well. Like it's just going to give you just so much more clarity. But 100%, like when I see people going through all these stressful times and they're like, oh, I can't do it anymore. I'm like, this will help you, but it is what it is. You can't force
Yeah.
people sometimes, can you?
I know there's been some times when I've like had a bit of a wobble or not feeling the best, and I've stepped away from the gym for a little bit, and it's been the worst decision I've ever made. It's like, no, time to go back to the gym now. Like, it's just good for your brain. So
When you have to have a deload, it sounds good at the start, and then you're 2 days in, and you're like, oh my God, I need to go back.
yeah, yeah,
What
definitely.
and this is one thing I do struggle with bodybuilding, and I suppose like you guys may be the same as well, but do you find that like outside of the gym, it's like, what is my identity? Other than, okay, I'm a coach, I'm a bodybuilder,
Yeah,
I'm someone's son, I'm someone's partner. What else? And
yeah. It's
that's
something I question probably too often, to be honest. I'm like, what?
it's
Who am I?
a hard one because
Yeah,
building is very consuming, isn't it?
yeah,
I suppose that
yeah,
you could say that for anything, right? Like, if someone's a CEO of a business, that's going to be their life. That's going to be their identity. Like, anything you're going to over consume yourself in, you're going to think that that's your identity. And obviously, if you do step away from that, you're going to have to try and find yourself again. But you'll find that in another passion, right? And
Yeah.
yeah.
like
That's how I
that's
try and
a brilliant
reframe it. Is
example of
like
that.
lots of other people have got lots of different hobbies, whether it's football, like you look at someone else, but oh, that guy's a footballer. I'm
Yeah.
sure they don't question whether they're who they are. We probably, because we're so all consumed by it, we're like, is this all I am? Obviously, we've got coaching, you could separate, you could do gym, you can separate, you've got your competitive stuff, you could separate, and obviously the community outside of it. But it is, yeah, I do often kind of question myself, like, if I didn't have the gym, what would I do? Yeah,
So if you want to be like really good at one thing, you've got to really like focus on that one
yeah.
thing, at the end of the
Well,
day.
how I feel is just like really average at one thing.
But I mean, there could be worse things that we could all be like
Exactly.
really
Yeah.
into. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I say this to my parents all the time, and they're like, "Oh, you're all just the gym all the time," blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? You could have a daughter that's, maybe not be go to the gym every day and just like you're ruining her life in other areas. So it could be
Yeah.
worse things, I
Yeah.
suppose.
It's a net positive. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, definitely. Shall
Cool.
we jump in to a couple of questions?
Let's do it, Denny.
Let's
You
do it.
reel off all your questions, mate.
I mean, I've got a question just for myself and everyone else.
Okay, cool.
One gorilla or 100 men?
Oh my god.
Sorry? What do we mean? In what context?
Have you
So,
not seen this?
what wins? It's kind of doing the rounds on socials at
Oh,
the minute.
right.
So,
I thought
one gorilla
else
fighting 100 men. No,
The 100 men are winning.
my mind went straight to that
oh dear.
type of podcast. I don't know.
No, definitely not.
One gorilla or 100 men. I'm gonna say 100 men because the 100 men may have like weapons and things
No,
like that.
no
Just
way.
shoot.
No weapons. They're unarmed.
Shit.
Just 100 average men.
100 average men. Oh
The
shit.
gorilla's getting dashed. I'm sorry.
No.
What is right? I'm sorry,
Is
but
it a
if you
baby
put
gorilla?
100 people in a room,
No, it's the biggest gorilla you could ever find.
oh, what? So we're going from an average 100 average men to like a
Oh, right.
silverback.
An average silverback gorilla. There you go.
It's still getting dashed. I'm sorry.
I think
It's not.
100 men. A couple of them may get hurt in the process. May
Couple.
not live to tell
I
it.
can. How heavy is a silverback?
It's about what, 300 to 500 pounds, maybe.
Silverback gorilla.
And what's the average weight of a male? Like
Let's
80
say
kilos?
80 kilos.
Yeah, 80.
I'm sorry.
Upwards of
work.
227 kilos.
Okay, so yeah, 800 kilos. Then you're talking.
And the strength.
Yeah, they are very strong. There would be a few casualties.
They would like tear you to pieces.
No, not 100 people, bro. Do you know how much?
Because like the
100
first 10 would just get destroyed, and then the other
Yeah, but
90
then the
would
next
be
10,
clearing
the
off.
next 10.
Really, what are those 100 people gonna do? Bite them?
I would. I'm
Yeah,
going
like
at it.
what can a human actually do?
Get the teeth out.
I'm jumping on him, everything, punching him,
Yeah.
biting him. I'm going to scratch him.
Delusional.
Go get the eyes. Just pick his eyes
Yeah.
out. Got it.
You got to
Gouge
get
out his
close
eyes.
first.
I'm doing it all. Put 100 of me against this gorilla. I'm tanking him. I'm sorry.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
We'll agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah. So Danny, you're going gorilla, and me and Max are going
Okay.
man.
Have you not seen Planet of the Apes?
Yeah,
That's
true.
loads of gorillas, though, bro.
I'm calling gorilla.
Do you know what? I had a feeling that question would come
In
up.
fact, my poll will probably back me. So I put a poll up yesterday. So I got 20 votes for gorilla and 15 for 100 men.
Oh, it's close. Me and Max are making this 17.
And then, yeah.
I think people need to think about it logically. Like 100 people is a lot of people. Like it's not one by one. It's all 100 are going at him.
Okay, if you saw 10 people run at a gorilla, are you running after them once they've been killed?
But this is a life or death situation. Let's say we're in the Rome like Colosseum, right? And you've got no choice. You're dying or you're fighting this gorilla, and there's 100 of you. I'm sorry, you're fighting.
Well, put in the comments below what you think. There we go. There's a bit of algorithm reach there.
Oh dear, that'll be the title. I'll just erase Toni out of the title now.
Yeah. Gorilla or 100 men.
There we go. Well, that was my contribution to the podcast.
Brilliant.
I've got a question
It's
from
yours.
Josh, the dandelion dandy. He has asked, if you had a door in your house that went anywhere in the world, where would it go? Narnia.
Josh, that's a hell of a question, to be fair.
Australia.
Barcelona.
I was thinking more like the Maldives or something. Not sure what
Yeah,
I would
you
do
just
there
like-
other than lay on the beach, but
But the fact that you just have access to just go into that door and
Yeah.
just be there.
having a bit of a moment of madness. Hello, Maldives. Beach.
I definitely wouldn't be coming back, that's for sure.
Stress reduction.
Yeah.
Need to get
Maldives is a place, right, where they have like swimming pigs. I'd love to see that.
Yes. Yeah, I've
Have you
seen
seen
those.
that?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's the Maldives. Yeah, I want to go swim with the pigs. That's where I'll be. That's where you
Right
find
on the
me.
beach with the pigs to go swimming
Like,
with.
I've
That's
had
where
a
the
stressful
store is.
day. Time to open the door to the Maldives.
Give me the pigs.
Got a question from Milling Tom. He has asked, what's it like being a female bodybuilder?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I suppose he's kind of going down the route of like, is there any kind of stereotypes or
Stigma,
stigma, like do other women kind of like, so, you know, with guys, like if you're jacked, the most attention you're going to get is from guys, right? Like, but is it the same as a female, or is there a little bit of stigma? Like, I know a lot of females are scared of putting on muscle as well.
It's funny that you say about the men being like jacked. I think sometimes when people, Gen Pop people, see like men in shape, it's like, congratulations, you look incredible, what a massive achievement. A female in shape, that is very much like, oh, you look ill, oh, that's not normal, you shouldn't have that much muscle, blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? It's always like you're always bashed.
something negative, yeah.
And what I find, one thing I find difficult, and I've been feeling that quite a bit recently, is being like a bodybuilder and being like in your off season, not like stage lean, and a coach at the same time. Because I just remember having some experiences with clients when I was in prep, and I'd never forget this, and this will always stick in my head. It's really, really bad. Had this one client who came to me for posing, and this was when I was like pretty shredded. I was in prep, and she said, "Oh, I chose you. I didn't go with this other girl because she's in off season. She's fat, and I don't aspire to look like that." And I didn't say anything at the time because I just didn't really. And I've reflected back on it, and I was like, that is absolutely horrendous. So now I always think that, because I'm not someone, and bodybuilding is very, very much genetics. That you can, of course, you can outwork genetics, but it's very much genetics. Some people can hold a nice, relatively lean physique in an off season. Some people don't. And that doesn't mean it's because of that person's any less of an athlete than the other. That's just like the way they store their body fat in all different areas. So that's one thing that I sometimes get, maybe a bit of like imposter syndrome, and also kind of like overthink things. Oh, a client's not going to want to be coached by me because I don't have abs all year round. And then I had this stupid question the other day on I'm Not Gonna Lie, I don't know whether you guys saw, and it was, would you not be tempted to be leaner all year round? And I was just like, what type of question is that?
Yeah, like what are you gaining out of
What does
asking
that
that question?
do?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And the way I answered it was just the fact that, like, if I stay that lean all year round, my life would be miserable. My hormones would be in the bin. I want to have kids one day, you know, so I
yeah,
can't be staying like that all the time. But yeah, it's bodybuilders, we get in our own heads enough, and then without the, other knobs that having their input about it
yeah,
makes it a lot harder, I
It's like
think.
types of people you just don't want to work with anyway. Like, if
Yeah.
they're going to have that kind of thought process, they're not going to stick around for long, because they just
No.
don't understand the process themselves. And that, Denny, we've spoke about this so many times, but like, it, if you don't have a great physique, that doesn't mean you're a bad coach. Like,
No.
yeah.
your physique
Then
and
how
your
do you define
coaching.
a great physique? Because you're only looking at that snippet as well. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't determine it at all, in my
I mean,
opinion.
like, to the general population, people who have no clue about coaching, no clue about bodybuilding, all three of us in an off season would be in shape, be in good nick. We're not
Yeah,
like getting like super fat. Um, but yeah, that's the one thing I find hard about probably being a female bodybuilder, is the fact that, like, I think men carry things better, I think.
yeah,
Because you just naturally hold more muscle as a male. And then as females, then I just find that's the one thing I find hard, is probably like embracing the off season body, not because I'm not comfortable in myself, just because, as much as I try not to let other people's like opinions get to me, of course it does. I'm only human at the
it's
end of it.
always going to be there. Yeah,
yeah.
It's always going to be there. I think just from maybe previous experiences, like from just like growing up, it's always going to be always having people like making comments about like my weight, and or not just weight, just anything really. It's always going to be there, and that's probably one of the hardest things I would say. Not nothing. Obviously, you've got the hormone side of things. That's another thing to take into consideration as a female bodybuilder. You're putting your hormones very much at risk. But yeah, probably those two things are probably the most challenging thing, I would say.
yeah, yeah. I've had like a few discussions with clients recently where they're like, "Oh, I really want to look like you, like all year round," sort of thing. It's like, not that I'm like killing myself to get into condition. Obviously, it's for me, it's not a sustainable route. Like, I would love to stay this lean potentially,
Yeah.
but it's just not possible. And I kind of have to remind some people that it's like, it's for a purpose. It's not to be doing this all year round. Some people can get away with it, like you said, like some people are just leaner naturally,
Yeah.
and obviously on the other end of the spectrum as well. And it's kind of reminding people that what we do is for a pretty extreme purpose
Yeah.
to, especially for prep and bodybuilding. So it's kind of that awareness of no one needs to look a certain way
Mm-hmm.
unless you're doing it for a reason.
Yeah. And one thing that I try to like remind my clients about like embracing like the off season and things like that is once you commit to bodybuilding, once you commit to stepping on stage, and if you want to win, if you want to do it really, really well, unfortunately, the only time of the whole process that you're gonna look mega is when you're on that stage. Prep, you're going to be really negative about your physique. You're going to be like
Yeah.
flat and you're going to overthink things and you get these prep goggles, you think you look bad. Off season, then you have to kind of push the limits a bit to gain that muscle. So once you sign up, it's fine if you don't want to compete. No, absolutely, we can get you maintaining a nice physique like year round when we go through these phases of building food up, back down, stuff like that. But once you commit to that bodybuilding things and stepping on stage, like you've got to remember the fact that you're not going to look and feel your best all the time, and that's just part and parcel, unfortunately,
Yeah.
being a bodybuilder.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I have some like lifestyle guys, and it's just basically we'll push up like 15 pounds and then pull off 15 pounds and push up 15 pounds, pull up, and it's like just keeping them in a nice kind of body composition all year round.
Yeah.
But then as soon as like someone comes to me like, oh, I want to be a bodybuilder, I want to step on stage next year or the year after, I'm like, okay, well, we've got to push in an off season then, and you're gonna get uncomfortable. And it's just part of the
Actually, the
process.
first one, I think, as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah, because it's all unknown. Like you don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough, but it's part of it.
it is.
definitely part and parcel.
It's what we
So
Yeah,
I
all
had
love
a
to do.
little look through my questions that I had.
go for it.
Um, you're both on prep, right? Got to ask you this.
What's that?
You're both on prep, right?
Well, I think I am.
Are
Yeah,
you, Max? The last time I spoke to you, you were doing like the similar type of shows to like your clients, so you compete in the same time, or
Yeah, I've got my first show. I've got 4 clients on stage, I think.
three, four clients on stage on your first show?
Yeah, in my show, not in my
Wow.
class, but in my show. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh
yeah.
shit.
time that well.
It's gonna be wild.
You'll be fine.
Have you prepped yourself before whilst prepping other people?
No, no, but that's
Yeah.
that's why I've got AJ, right? Like, I mean, this prep, I'm 9 week. Well, I'm in my 9th week, and I've just completely switched off. Like, I take my shots and I send them over to AJ. And even when I upload shots to Instagram, I don't really like overanalyze them.
Mm.
Like there can be a little bit of a point where I get home after a session and I look at them and I'm like, oh God. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, like that's what he's there for. He's there to stress
Yeah.
about me whilst I can concentrate on my clients.
Mm.
Because I got some really really good guys competing this year, and I've always said my coaching is always goes above my bodybuilding compared like where I will be in bodybuilding, and that's just me being realistic in a way that I'm probably never going to turn pro naturally. So I'm happy to compete and enjoy that process, but also I have very good clients who are in that potential that can really push that. So I would much rather help them fulfill those goals than me trying to force something that potentially I'm not going to fulfill. But yeah.
I think that's really important what you said about like you're like realistic. So clearly you're doing this not to, of course everyone wants to win, but you're not doing this to like get some sort of fulfillment out of like a pro card or like a medal or something. You're doing it generally because you enjoy the
Yeah.
bodybuilding itself and you like to improve on yourself. And I think that's one thing that like I noticed a difference like this prep was that like this I think this is why I maybe didn't enjoy my most recent prep, to be honest, because having that pressure of like doing your pro debut and all of this and also being a coach at the same time, I was very much focused on like not the process and
It
more
was on the result.
the
You were
result.
focused on,
And then when you didn't get the result, you're kind of like, oh, what am I actually doing this for? But that led me on like a completely other journey then, and that like now I'm like thankful that happened, because now I can look at it completely differently. Um, but yeah, I completely resonate with you there, Max, with the fact that you're realistic, I'm realistic. Like at the end of the day, like competing and winning like a PCA Pro show, getting your pro card, it's not going to pay the bills, is it either?
no,
So
the day after life goes back to
Yeah,
normal.
it's
So
it's the
yeah, but
same
this is why I
shit.
tell people who, yeah, as much as a loss is absolutely like heart wrenching sometimes and disappointing, like the next week that's forgotten about like by everyone. Like I don't
yeah,
remember who won the show last weekend. Do you? I have no idea.
exactly.
Who
Yeah,
came fourth or who came seventh? No clue. So I think people who are like new to like competing in bodybuilding, they need to not focus so much on like the medals and put it on Instagram to say, oh, I won or I didn't win, because nobody cares.
yeah,
Nobody really
literally.
cares.
I think that's quite important to say. Like, as much as we probably all felt it in some regard,
Oh yeah.
no one actually cares, really.
It
Which
doesn't
sounds
make it
horrible, but they don't.
Yeah.
doesn't make it any easier, but
Yeah,
like the sooner you realize that like nobody cares, then the better.
yeah, yeah. Because like you could exactly like win your pro card, you could come first, last, middle, whatever it is. Like you said, a week after, you're
Mhm.
probably not going to think about it so much, and then certainly everyone else in the crowd, the judges, and
Yeah.
anyone on your social media is not going to be like, "Oh, remember that person that came fourth?" Like,
Yeah.
it's
No,
just
yeah,
not going to happen.
it's not.
Yeah. I
So
did
yeah,
exactly the same thing. 2022, I prepped for the first time in 2019 as a team, and then I went away and I was like so anal with everything. I was like 100% with everything in my off season, and I was like, right, 2022, I'm gonna come back as a junior. I'm gonna win a qualifier and I'm gonna place at British finals. Right, that was literally like that's gonna happen in my head. Um, and I got to a qualifier and I got smoked. And then like the prep was a shambles anyway, but like a couple of weeks after that, I was really in a bad headspace because it's difficult to because you've relied so much on that goal that it's just not sometimes not a realistic goal. You have to have the goal in a prep to produce your best physique because you can't control who's going to turn up.
yeah, yeah. It's a
Okay, bodybuilding sounds like, oh, everyone always says this, but it is subjective. And when you look at it from an outsider's point of view, as much as I respect judges, don't get me wrong, like I do respect the judges, but it's just that one person, that one or the three people's opinion out of hundreds,
yeah,
And I know they are like professionals and they do this for a living, but sometimes it is a matter of opinion about,
yeah.
and
And
so
that changes from judge to judge as well and show to show.
yeah.
Like they could go for one look at one particular show, and then the
Mhm.
next week it's
Mhm.
completely different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
you probably have it, Tony, as well, where like your clients send you like people's posts of who they're competing against, and
Mm,
like sometimes I don't know how to reply because it's like you don't know what he's going to look like on stage.
there's
Like,
going to be people that haven't posted that are going to turn up. That
yeah,
could be
yeah, you need to worry
honestly,
about
there's
them.
bodybuilding like is all about the little 1%, and from like that photo that they post on Instagram, then the show is like 2 or 3 weeks away. So much can happen in that time. So much can
yeah,
happen from the morning of the show to the evening of the show. Your look can completely change. So, and
yeah,
also, as we all know, Instagram people only show like their best angles, the best lighting, the best
yeah,
everything. So they may not look like that in real life. They look like that on stage, So um yeah, this is why I just try to tell people that so much can change, so much can happen.
yeah,
And just like the more you stress about it, the worse you're gonna look. And you don't want
Mm.
that. So just
yeah,
block it out, block out the
yeah,
noise, focus on yourself, stay in your own lane, and just focus on keep bringing a better package for yourself, not trying to beat anyone specific, just
yeah,
trying to beat yourself and
yeah,
improve show to show.
yeah. Because at the end of the day, like if we're all being realistic, there could always be someone that's better than you. There could be an absolute freak that turns up that's not on Instagram. You can't control it, so what's the point? You may as well just be there for you.
That
Yeah,
usually is what happens as well, I find, is the people who it's like secret prep and they just turn up.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like Brad Coxedge. I don't think he posted anything in the lead up to his show, and he smoked everyone last year. Like literally everyone. I think
Yeah.
every single show he
You
got an
want
overall.
I'd love to do that. I'd love to be able to like just
Just walk in, and be like, "Yep, I'm gonna win."
not say anything to anyone, just turn up.
I might be wrong
Yeah.
as well, but he coached himself. I might be wrong
He
enough.
did. He did. Yeah, he
It's
coached
wild.
himself.
Like, and that like, this is not taking away anything from people like that, but they are genetically a little bit more superior than everyone else.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they haven't worked as hard. It's just
No.
genetically they are what the judges are looking for.
Yeah.
And they can walk into a show, take away all the trophies, and maybe post it on their Instagram for their mum and dad to see, and that's it. Like, job
Carry
done.
on.
you
Like,
know?
yeah, job done.
And
That's crazy.
that and just carry on with their lives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's going to be people like that, and yeah, I think you just got to accept that is part and parcel of bodybuilding. The
Definitely.
one thing that I struggled with, I think, with this season was I knew exactly who I was competing against because I know who's pro, I know what pro is on prep, and I know because there's only a
Yeah.
certain amount of shows for PCA. So that's one thing I just struggled with. I was like, right, I'm gonna have to like mute her so I don't see because it does throw you
Yeah.
off, doesn't it? As much as we tell people don't take any notice.
Yeah, sometimes it just naturally pops up, and you're like, "Oh, that person."
Oh,
And it's
great.
like, yeah, it's like great. Wish I never saw
Your
that.
face is 10 times the size of mine. Fantastic.
It's kind of crazy
Yeah.
because like you're in that headspace and you're a pro, like, and you're already a level above 99% of people who compete, right? And then you in your head you're looking at other pros now and
Yeah.
going, oh, am I going to compete?
Thing is, like,
Yep.
we're always going to pick out our worst part and compare it to someone's potential best part, but there's probably also other people doing that to you and be like, "Oh, that person's got X, Y, Z, and I haven't got that." So I think it goes both ways as well.
And when you become pro, you're back. You're a small fish again. You are literally against the elite of the elite. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
unless you're the elite of the elite of the elite of the elite, then if you're just elite, then you got no chance. Maybe not no chance. Maybe that was a bit savage, but you know what I mean.
No,
We've
we
got-
like Savage on this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
We like Savage.
It's honest, just realistic.
I'm
You
going to
know.
ask you a question then because we like Savage and it always gets a good response. What do you hate about this industry?
What do I hate about this industry?
Or dislike? Hate might be a strong word.
Oh, quite a few things. How
Go
long?
for it. Go for it.
One, I do just hate like these like just new coaches who just want to like put people on stage who have never even like dieted or to the extremes themselves, and just giving advice that is just like just not correct, and then putting people's health at risk then, as well. That's one thing. Another thing, I just hate, as you know, I hate social media. I just hate how the whole industry is just like, I don't know, just so in your, it's in my face, but I
It's
think
heavy. Yeah.
my Instagram is a coaching page, so that's all I see all the time. So yeah, maybe just like just people posting their best angles, but you know, everyone's guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. I try and be as like authentic as I possibly can on my Instagram. But yeah, I don't know. What are your guys' worst things about the industry?
Just the nonsense information that gets put out.
Yeah, I suppose similar to
When
me, like just
yeah, it's just like you know that person doesn't know what they're talking about and they're just regurgitating something, and you're just like, you have no idea, and people are listening to you because you've got 10,000 followers or whatever.
yeah.
So yeah, that's probably my one.
My one's like, at the moment, is people follow a diet for like 6 weeks and all of a sudden they're a coach. And I'm like, how
People
the fuck
following-
have you
sorry, you broke
justified
up then.
yourself becoming a coach? Like, I don't know. I think I have quite good morals, right? And when I started coaching, I was so scared to start coaching because I was like, I don't deserve to be a coach. Like, even by that point, I competed in
No.
2 shows.
Technical
And
difficulties.
I literally put up a message on my Instagram. I was like, I'm going to coach people for free. And I started coaching like friends and just people off Instagram and stuff. And the very first person I put on stage in 2020 who won a British title, I coached him for free the entire prep,
No
right?
way.
Because I could not justify charging him
Yeah.
because I was like, I've never done this before. right? I've
Yeah.
never practiced on
Mm.
one. And now it's like people follow a diet for 6 weeks and, oh, my coach, how do you justify it? And that's what grinds my gears a little bit. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
all about people making a living. Like it's not a problem. But like, are you really what people are paying for? Like, are you really
Yeah,
worth that?
it has become a little bit of a trendy thing. Like, it's probably almost hypocritical for me to say because obviously I'm a coach as well, but it's like they're like, oh, like you said, I've got in shape quickly, and now I'm gonna start charging people because I got in a little bit of shape. It's like you need to do it because you love, like you said, Tony. You found that natural progression of helping people, whether that be through work,
Yeah.
and I think it needs to go that way for most people. Like, you need to love helping people, either at work, family, or just getting that kind of kick out of it. Because if you're just doing it for one reason, which is just money, obviously we all need to earn a living, but
I mean, if you're
it's yeah,
doing it for the money side of things, like it's that's one thing that I struggled with transitioning from like nursing to coaching because obviously with nursing I had that like security of pay every month and then
yeah,
also a pension as well. With coaching, you can have like an
Fluctuates.
X amount of money one month and then completely different the next month.
yeah,
You've got to make sure you're putting money aside like for tax and national insurance and things like that and your pension like realistically, like you've got to, of course, it depends what you want to charge, but most people are not going to really want to pay more than 150 a month if you're just like a regular coach. So, yeah, I think if you're doing it for the money side of things, then just be prepared to just work all the time if that is the case. And I mean all the time.
definitely.
I got another pet peeve as well from this week. I don't know why. I've been a bit triggered this
Go
week
on,
from a
let it
couple
out.
of things.
Until he's in prep.
Yeah, when people have a goal and they say they've got a goal, but they can't work for it, it drives me insane. Drives me insane.
Excuses.
Excuses. Yeah.
It's just like,
Oh, I forgot my meal prep, so I ordered
yeah, like,
Domino's.
oh, I didn't feel like going
Yeah,
to work
that,
today.
that
I
is
thought,
just
like,
beyond.
there's too much of an extreme there.
Mhm,
Yeah, it's like I want to be a pro, but I can't follow a meal plan. Fucking best of luck, bro.
mhm.
Like, or you can't train. Like, oh, I didn't feel like pushing to failure. You telling me you want to be a pro bodybuilder, bro? Like,
Yeah.
or you're posting on your stories that you want to be a pro or whatever, and it's action in your goals. It's all bark but no bite, and I just find it irritating sometimes.
Your actions need to align with your goals at the end of the day.
Yeah,
They do, indeed.
they do indeed. I've got one more question, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
From Josh, he's asked, would you rather have a bucket of mayo or a bucket of peppercorn sauce?
Mayo, I hate peppercorn sauce. I
I hate
absolutely hate mayo.
mayo.
And this is my problem if I go off plan meals, right? I don't know about you guys the same, but do you know if you have like a burger and chips, steak and chips, the chips, I have the chips to dip, and I don't mean dip, I mean like scoop, like mayo, like that. And yeah, this is probably why I should stop having chips because I'm not having the chips for the chips. I'm having the chips for the
Yeah.
full of
There's
mayo.
more calories in the dip than there is the actual
Well,
chips.
my after I have burger and chips, like my insides are just literally just mayo, 90% mayo. Love
Yeah, I'm
mayo.
not a fan of mayo, so it'd be
Are you
peppercorn for me.
not?
Nah,
Denny's got the weirdest taste buds known to
no, I
mankind.
don't. Also, everyone try this. Pink lemonade 7 Up. Very good.
Yeah,
Tell you're
pink
on
lemonade.
prep.
So if I do what 7 Up the brand do pink lemonade?
Sainsbury's.
Oh wow, I like the pink lemonade Lucozade, the sugar-free one. That's nice. Try
Not
that.
tried that one. I do like a pink lemonade, so as soon as I saw this, I was like, well, I'm buying that.
Same. If I ever see anything pink lemonade, I'm like, gotta have that. Grabbing
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
100%. Wait, can I ask a question? What is your top three monster flavors?
Oh, white. I've got
Yeah.
a bit of a case up there still. The Fiesta and then the
It's
Strawberry
the Fiesta.
Dreams.
It's the Fiesta, the blue one,
Yeah, it's like the turquoisey mango one.
and then
And then the
the strawberry
Strawberry
dreams.
Dreams, which is a new fan favourite for me.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
much.
mine's white Fiesta, and then what's the green one?
Oh no.
Citrus.
Yeah,
That's
whatever
the
that one
best.
is.
It's
I quite
terrible.
like that one.
What about you, Tony?
I'm gonna go a bit rogue, and I'm gonna go strawberry dreams as my fave. Absolutely
Okay.
love that. Then the white. Oh, I don't know. I do love white. Depends what day, what type of mood I'm in, you know.
Yeah.
The pink and the white, the strawberry dreams, and the white. I do like the peach. Peach is
Yeah,
nice.
that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried the strawberries and cream Pepsi Max yet?
Yes. Lovely.
See,
Don't
Denny, you're
drink
wrong
very
again,
much.
bro.
I tried just the cream soda one, and that was alright. But the strawberry one, no.
There's no what? Okay, what's better, Pepsi Max or Diet Coke or Coke Zero?
Pepsi Max.
Pepsi Max cherry.
Yeah, I feel like most bodybuilders will say Pepsi Max because it's just so sweet compared
Yeah,
to Diet
Yeah,
Coke. So we just love anything that's sweet, don't we?
yeah, for
definitely.
sure. So
Anything
can't
to get
have
those
it.
taste buds going alongside chicken and green beans, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those pro fat meals.
Cool. Well, thank you, Tony, for being on. Last but not least, would you like to give yourself a bit of a plug? Where can people find you? I'll include all your links in the description below. But give yourself a plug.
Good. Well, thank you guys for having me. I really enjoyed this actually.
Yes.
I feel like it was really like just an authentic little chit chat in the end. So yeah, I enjoyed. It's good. So yeah, my Instagram is Toni Toni underscore the bikini coach. That's kind of where most people can just get in contact with me. But yeah, that's
Lovely stuff.
Perfect. All right, people,
it.
please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Give us some Tory stuff, story tags. I'm in prep. Leave me alone. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.